H.R. 40 is in fact the response of the United States of America long overdue.
And my license getting suspended is a result of me not responding to child support payments that was long overdue.
Slavery is the original sin. Slavery has never received an apology.
That's because the people that's owed the apology not even here anymore. I don't know nobody with a Facebook account that was a slave.
That these studies have been going on for a mighty long time, and why not say now whether you would be for reparations or not?
Joe Biden don't even know if he's gonna be woke for dinner or not.
And Vice President Kamala Harris endorsed it when she was in the Senate.
Kamala Harris would endorse a dick if it was up for a vote.
But as Maya reports, that might not be enough to get a proposal to study reparations for slavery to Biden's desk this Congress.
How in the hell you gonna create a task force for something that don't even exist?
Well, he's supported a study of reparations, which I believe is what's being discussed, and studying the continuing impacts of slavery, which is being discussed in this hearing on H.R. 40, I believe it is.
Well, this slave descendants playing in the NBA right now. Is they gonna get back some of their money because they overpaid?
I know it has to be done now, and you know it too. Let's not wait. Let's do the study and decide whether it should be direct cash payment.
Well, if you send me a direct cash app payment like Beth Roberts, you can get your own reparation certificate.
But in the meantime, you know it has to be done.
Beth Roberts, you don't have to worry. Your certificate is in the mail, along with your Whites Love Black t-shirt. Oh, Beth Roberts done donated so much to my channel, my grandkids is gonna reap the benefits of her donation.
We've, tried to deal with our original sin of slavery by fighting a civil war, by passing landmark civil rights legislation. We've elected an African-American president.
And now you have an Asian Jamaican woman vice president that's claiming to be an African-American, and that's still not enough.
I believe that we have never fully addressed in this country the original sin of slavery.
I thought the original sin was in the Garden of Eden, not in Delaware.
And that because of that, we have never truly healed as a country.
How in the hell do you know? Was your ancestors slaves? Next! Give us our reparations.
I just simply ask, why not? And why not now?
Because if you send me a low price of $100, you can get your reparations paid right now. Wait a minute, is this some type of commercial?
But putting aside the injustice of monetary reparations from current taxpayers for the sins of a small subset of Americans from many generations ago, let me finish.
Well, speaking of finishing, Heather Anderson is finished and complete with her reparations payment. If it wasn't for Heather Anderson, I wouldn't be on YouTube right now. Heather Anderson, your completion of the reparation program is now complete. Your shirt and your certificate is now in the mail.
The fair distribution of reparations would be nearly impossible once one considers the complexity of the American struggle to abolish slavery.
The Democrats always got a solution to abolish something that don't exist.
And I've said that, if we compensate people under our Constitution, if we take their property, why wouldn't you compensate people who actually were considered property and sanctioned as property by the state?
Now the only place niggas is sanctioned as property of the state is prison.
We have an obligation to acknowledge that any monetary reparations that might be recommended by the commission created by H.R. 40 would almost certainly be unconstitutional on their face.
Well, if you won't give it to us, we got to get it another way.
Anything they want to take it, because these businesses have insurance. They're going to get their money back. My people aren't getting anything.
Well, bitch, speak for yourself, because I'm getting my reparations. And Tulsa Brickworks reparation is paid. It been paid a couple of months ago. As a matter of fact, Tulsa Brickworks is paying reparations now just for the fuck of it. Next! Tulsa Brickworks, for being a long-time supporter, your certificate and your shirt is in the mail.
If you were working for a company and you worked for that company for free for a long period of time, you would probably want back pay.
Yeah, also, if your ass don't do the job, your ass don't deserve no pay.
You know, because of all the work that you put in. And then you got, you know, Jim Crow segregation, and you have mass incarceration. You have all of these things that were systemically done to black people to oppress them, to marginalize them. And we wonder why there's so many there's such a socioeconomic gap now between black people and white people.
It's been an even bigger gap with Asians and blacks, and Asians a minority too.
The reason for that, listen, wait a minute.
Next! Ain't nobody gonna believe you anyway, because you can't say Asians got a structured family, be well educated, and don't be out there killing each other, because they would call you a damn lie.
The reason for that is a legal question. See, the legal question is the federal government can't constitutionally provide compensation today to a specific racial group because other members of that group, maybe several generations ago, were discriminated against and treated inhumanely.
Because I shouldn't have to pay for the sins of my grandmother on how she treated niggas in the 60s.
It's because of that free labor we put in, you know, free labor that we were forced to do that helped build this country. So America needs to pay what they owe.
Well, David Cheesebro reparations is paid and he don't owe shit. As a matter of fact, I got to backdate David Cheesebro certificate because David Cheesebro reparations been paid over a year ago. I got to backdate it.
But the idea that we need to get, frankly, a bunch of mostly white people in business clothes to say, I'm sorry, and to cut some checks.
And bigger than 1,400 this time. Give us about $500,000.
And sometimes people say, you know, they'll ask me, well, nobody today was a slave owner, and nobody today that's living was a slave.
And you would say they lying.
I think we're always a work in progress in this country, but no one currently alive was responsible for that.
That's what I said to Bloods about my grandmother when they cornered me.
Let's have this conversation because it's a serious and important one. Dr. West, you heard Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's argument.
Argument my ass, that was a fact.
And many people, you know, make that same argument that slavery was 150 years ago.
And I don't think there's any black people that's alive that's 151 years old.
No one today is responsible.
But liberals gonna hold white people responsible. You don't see too many liberals hollering about they want to pay reparations. They got the money. They can pay us our reparations. Stop being stingy, liberals.
Now that Democrats have so much power, you have African-American people, African-American leaderships saying, why can't we focus on this issue?
We need the big stimulus this time.
We know that African-Americans are not being treated equally in this country. We know that there are economic consequences to the institutional racism that black people have faced in this country.
Yeah, what she said. She making us sound desperate, so we need that check.
And that is separate and apart from any other race in this country. Black people being held in bondage, enslaved for years in this country, that hurt generations of African Americans.
Hold on, bitch. It didn't hurt me. My grandmother got me out there gangbanging in my community is what hurt me, not no damn slavery. I had the same opportunity and chances of everybody else in America. I just didn't take them then, but I'm damn sure taking them now.
And this study, people think, will be integral to trying to right some of that wrong. So I think we're going to have to really watch the White House and continue to press them on their stance on that bill.
And make you feel guilty to give us the money. Next!
You know, and like I said, it don't have to be in check form, but just acknowledging it, you know?
I'm glad my boy Randy Sissom acknowledged me with this reparation idea. Randy, I gotta give you an extra reparation for this idea. Randy, I got you covered. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you one and I'm gonna give you a blank one so you can give it to somebody who you know that might been paying off their reparations and ain't got no credit. Randy, your shirt and your certificate is in the mail.
Is that what reparations is about?
I know my reparations not. I can't pay off my hitman with no acknowledgement.
No. Reparations is about truth and it's about justice.
I'm funny. I need reparations for my comedy. Oops. I meant I need reparations for my pain and oppression and my ancestors' struggle. That's what I need reparations for. My comedy come next. You can donate to my Cash App for that. But if you want to pay my reparations, you also can donate to my Cash App for that. Your certificate and your shirt will be in the mail.
Acknowledging the idea that y'all did something wrong to a group of people, and let's start over, apologize, you reveal it, and then we can heal it.
Some people, nigga, who you been listening to?
Because they recognize that some people did something.
Ilhan Omar? We already know that hoe is racist. We talking about Joe Biden.
And he continues to demonstrate his commitment to take comprehensive action to address the systemic racism that persists today.
Which Joe Biden had a big part in systematic racism.
Obviously, that is, having that study is a part of that.
Joe Biden is part of what he say he is trying to stop.
To coddle the reputations of segregationists, of people who, if they had their way, I would literally not be standing here as a member of the United States Senate, is, I think, it's misinformed and it's wrong.
So what gave you a change of heart?
Did you apologize for that? He's going to have to make that decision. But, let's be very clear that the senators that he is speaking of with such adoration are individuals who made and built their reputation on segregation.
And you built your reputation on your knees or kissing ass.
We did it, Joe. You're going to be the next president of the United States.
Next! Do this bitch ever stop laughing?
Nobody on this stage should need a focus group to hear from African-American voters. Black voters are pissed off, and they're worried. They're pissed off because the only time our issues seem to be really paid attention to by politicians is when people are looking for their vote.
Other than that, fuck them.
And they're worried because the Democratic Party, we don't want to see people miss this opportunity and lose because we are nominating someone that isn't trusted, doesn't have authentic connection.
I'm part of that Obama coalition. I come out of the black community in terms of my support. If you notice, I have more people supporting me in the black community that have announced for me because they know me. They know who I am.
And Joe, you a lie. We don't fucking know you.
There are people in Congress right now that admit to smoking marijuana.
And now this hoe is vice president.
You ever smoked?
I have.
Okay.
And I inhale. I did inhale.
Okay.
And still can't fucking stop laughing.
While there are people, our kids are in jail right now for those drug crimes.
Thanks to Kamala Harris.
The only African-American woman that ever been elected to the United States Senate. A whole range of people.
No,
my point is...
that's not true. The other one is here.
I said the first. I said the first African-American elected. The first African-American. So my point is...
Well, actually, Joe Biden is still right because that bitch is not African-American. Next! And Miss Vice President thinks she is funny.
And look, I joke about it, half joking. Half my family's from Jamaica. Are you kidding me?
Next! Joe Biden got a junkie for vice president.
I must say that Brother Biden ought to be ashamed of what he said about Brother Corey.
Joe Biden don't give a damn what you or him think. Y'all black.
Are you going to apologize like Cory Booker has
Apologize for what?
I don't apologize to colors. Joe Biden is a racist son of a bitch.
Let me just put that out right now.
You are late putting it out. Joe Biden been out the racist closet for years.
Besides, you ain't black. What do you have to say to young black voters who see voting for you as further participation in a system that continually fails to protect them?
Not a damn thing. And they're gonna vote for me anyway. Cory Booker called Joe Biden a racist, and he been damn near silenced ever since.
Cory should apologize. He knows better.
Because a black Democrat know better than to speak out of place.
The vice president said I should know better, and this is what I know.
I'm pretty sure Joe Biden ancestors talked to slaves the same way.
There's not a racist bone in my body. I've been involved in civil rights my whole career. Period. Period. Period.
Period my ass. It should be a question mark.
During the 60s, I was, in fact, very concerned about the civil rights movement. I was not an activist.
But you were a pervert.
I worked at an all-black swimming pool in the east side of Wilmington, Delaware.
Where you had little black kids rub on your hairy legs.
I was involved. in what they were thinking, what they were feeling.
What they were smoking.
I was involved, but I was not out marching. I was not down in Selma. I was not anywhere else.
Especially not around niggas.
I was a suburbanite kid who got a dose of exposure to what was happening to black Americans.
And I didn't give a shit. Next!
Are you going to apologize?
He didn't, and the nigga been silenced ever since.
Looked like Brother Biden didn't want to learn or listen. He tightened up, became so dogmatic.
Because that's what racists do.
As a black man in America, I know the deeply harmful and hurtful usage of the word boy and how it was used to dehumanize and degrade.
Boy was the polite way to call somebody a nigga back in the days. It wasn't really polite, but I guess it was better than being called a nigga.
I know that segregationists like the two people you were talking about, through their laws and their language, deeply wounded this nation, and the present day manifestations of their work can still be seen in black and brown communities like the one I go home to.
And the one Joe Biden never marched for. Joe Biden never paid for his reparations, but Dina Cali reparations is paid in full.
And you say, oh my God, then let's look at your eulogy for Strom Thurmond.
And also his love for Jim Eastland.
I served with a guy named Jim Eastland from Mississippi. Remember that old segregationist Mississippi dog that you like? Yes. And I got there, he was in his 80s, I was 30 years old. And he asked me, he always called me, he didn't call me boy, he always called me son.
Because he reserved boy for blacks. And I reserve one of these reparations certificate to my boy Bambuga because he's been a long-time supporter.
Somebody running to be the leader of our party should know that using the word boy in the way he did can cause hurt and pain. And we need a presidential nominee and the leader of our party to be sensitive to that.
Well, Joe Biden, not him. Racists call Joe Biden their boy because Joe Biden is more like the racist family.
He said, son, come here. I went over and sat down next to him. He said, and he asked what the problem was. I told him how tough the race was. He looked at me, he said, what old Jim Easton do for you in Delaware, boy, or son?
Boy, did you make that mistake or James Eastland made that mistake? Well, I know one mistake I better not make. I better hand out my Stormy her reparations before she called and cussed me the hell out. Stormy, you thought I was gonna forget you? I'm not finna get my ass whooped. Stormy, your reparation certificate and your shirt is in the mail.
And I said, well, Mr. Chairman, some places you'd help, and some places you'd hurt. He looked at me and said, well, then I'll come to Delaware. I'll campaign for you or against you, whichever will help.
Because that's what friends do.
I could not have disagreed with Jim Eastland more. And he was a segregationist. I ran for the United States Senate because I disagreed with the views of the segregationists, and many of them in the Senate at the time.
That's why you passed racist laws with people you didn't like.
Let's look at the crime bill, not of 94, but of 84 with Strom Thurmond.
An open racist that was one of Joe Biden's mentors.
It's because of that. It's because of those policies that America implemented.
America, my ass, Joe Biden and the Democrats invented every racist law ever.
Let's look at ways in which you could have been wrong, and we're giving you a chance to say you could be wrong, and you're sorry about that.
Joe Biden apologizing for oppressing blacks? Good luck with that.
You ashamed of that bill?
Not at all. And in fact, I drafted the bill, as you remember.
I know that.
But I don't think Joe Biden gives a fuck either.
But no, he backs up, and without this Socratic spirit, we're not going to get too far about reparations or any other issue, my brother.
Well, I got a bigger issue than that. I done ran out of video, and I got some more reparation certificates to pass out. Well, I guess I got to pass them out on my next video. Don't think I forgot about you. I just ain't got no more video.
And then we can really get to a equal playing field in this country.
Because black people, my bad, I meant niggas, need our reparations.
So if one of these presidential candidates does not support, for example, reparations, they don't get your support.
And if you don't donate $50 to my Cash App, you don't get no reparation certificate and t-shirt because you ain't paid your reparations yet. Nobody said reparations was going to be cheap. And I know it's a couple of liberals that's watching this video. You marching around for Black Lives Matter and all that shit. Well, you can donate to my Cash App and you ain't got to do no marching. I will send your certificate to you and your shirt in the mail. Now, this certificate only give you certain privileges. You can't walk around calling black people niggas yet, because I'm also coming out with a black privilege card for white folks. If you donate to my channel, you will be able to call at least 3 niggas in a year. You will be able to use the N-word 3 times without facing the penalties and perjury of being called a racist 3 times in a year. But the black card is also biracial, because I gotta have a black privilege card for people like Julius C. Wright, Maisha Greenwood, and Michael Fable. Cause y'all need a black privilege card, cause if y'all somewhere and you is getting harassed by the police, you can pull out your black privilege card and you'll get away with traffic tickets, traffic harassments, and searches and seizures. Of course, this is the sampler certificate. I gotta type the damn name inside of the box. I scribble people's name inside of the box. That is so ghetto. But I gotta go and type the name in the box and put it in the frame and make it look professional, because this is a real reparation. This is not no fake shit. This is not no liberal lie. This is real reparations.